Welcome back to Guns Explained. I'm Jordan Mitchell here with our guest panel for the month of January. We've got Sergeant Keith Jenkins with the West Jordan Police Department, and we've got Rich Montenez, Program Director for Salt Lake Community College and their academy. Gentlemen, law enforcement, it's a tough career. We know this. You guys are well experienced in it. We talked last week a little bit about things that people need to know before entering into the field of law enforcement. Now let's look at it from another perspective. What do agencies need and look for in their future law enforcement personnel? What are the criteria, the minimums, and the things that everybody looks for from a hiring standpoint? And Rich, what do you prepare people when they come through your academy to get those jobs? So let's start off, Rich. What are some of the things that you do in the academy to prepare people for a career in law enforcement?
So we get a lot of young people requesting to come through the academy that are 18, 19 years old. To go through a law enforcement academy, you have to be 21 years of age to come through an academy. Some of the qualifications are you have to be a U.S. citizen, or a naturalized citizen, 21 years of age. You have to have a high school diploma. You cannot have a felony conviction. You cannot be a restricted person. If you had a domestic violence charge, you have to have that domestic violence charge
like expunged?
Expunged. You have to have an expungement on that specific DV. And then you have to have a valid driver's license to come through the academy. Now, coming through Salt Lake Community College is a little bit different, self-sponsored versus the academy.
Yeah, how so?
Because when you come through our program, you have to be a college student, number one. So you go through the process of becoming a college student, going through the orientation. And then we have to do a state application, which goes to the state of Utah, POST, Peace Officer Standards and Training. And when the application actually goes to POST, then POST has to take a look at it and do a background on it and accept you to the certification program.
Okay.
So they actually are the ones who accept you to our program. You just can't register for our program and come through it. You have to be accepted through POST. They do a background, then you can come through our program.
Okay.
And then they'll allow you to come through the Satellite Academy.
So in the class, it's you said it takes place over a period of about 7 months. Is that correct?
We run the 2 blocks of the academy, which is the Special Functions Officer block that runs 1 semester. And then the second semester is the Law Enforcement Officer block, and that runs through the 2nd semester. So we're a satellite academy. We're set up for people who work. It's a part-time academy. You come at night. So we go to class Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 9:30, half a day on Saturday. You're getting the identical training that the state academy teaches. We have to follow the same curriculum, same objectives, same testing, same hours. We have to meet all of those obligations. POST does, they survey, they come and look at our files to make sure we're on track before they'll allow them to take the certification test.
Okay.
So we're monitored by the state academy.
Excellent. Well, that's good to know. So obviously an accredited and established position there. Keith, so the people that come out of the satellite academies and the people that you personally hire through West Jordan and then send to the academies, what are some of the qualifications you guys are looking for in future law enforcement personnel?
So much of the same requirements are the same because we have to send you to the police academy. So much of the same requirements that he laid out are going to be there for us because we're either going to send you to the academy, or if you've already gone to one of the satellite academies, you can apply and what we call a certifiable. So you've been through the academy, so we can hire you on and you can start with us immediately, or certified. With West Jordan, we'll actually, basically a cadet, which is someone who is not certified yet, hasn't been through the academy, but we can take you and we'll put you through the academy and get you that training as well.
Okay.
In addition to those basic kind of legal requirements that we have, once you get on with us, once you go through, you're going to do a physical fitness test first. So we need a PT test to see that you meet the minimum standards to be able to get through the academy and become certified as an officer. You'll do typically an interview and some sort of written panel, some sort of writing. Majority, as much as we like to think we're John McClane and jumping over cars and off buildings, the reality is most of what we do is interacting with the public and documenting through a lot of reports. There's a lot of writing, and so that proficiency in communication is important to us. So typically an oral board or some sort of interview panel, and then some sort of writing aptitude test.
Sure.
Report. From there, if we decide to extend an offer to you to start with our department, You're going to do a background check that's pretty extensive. Typically, is going to go back at least 10 years, talk with family members, friends, coworkers. Really pretty comprehensive looking into your background, any kind of criminal interactions with law enforcement. Things that can, even financial, things that help us to determine what your footing is on kind of your moral ground and what your background is, because to us, that's very important. You're going to encounter many things in law enforcement that are challenging, that could test you, like I said, both physically, mentally, and morally, and we need people that are of strong enough character that they can get through that when they're tired, sleep deprived, working shift work, frustrated, those things there. They all come with their own benefits, and there's many benefits that those have to offer, but there's many challenges that it can offer too, and so we want people that can get through that healthy. Our goal is to have successful officers, because that has an impact on our community because of the impact. And so the success of our officers means making sure that they're healthy for the long term, that they can support that. So we want to look at do they have a base level that we can work with there. And so once we get through that background check, we also do either a polygraph or what's known as a CVSA, so a computer voice stress analysis to kind of lie detector, so to speak, and question there. There's drug panels and physical fitness test, and then psychological testing as well.
Wow, that's extensive. That's a lot more than I ever thought there really was. So Rich, what's the rough hiring rate for people that come out of the academy?
So when students come through our academy, usually through the first block, we don't have a lot of hiring going on in the first block. Most of the agencies will start coming and recruiting at our academy when they're in the LEO block. They feel like if they get through the SFO block, they're more dedicated. So they tend to come more and recruit during the second block, which is the LEO block. Mm-hmm. We'll have agencies all over the valley contact us and come in and recruit weekly through our academy. It's not uncommon for half of our class, or more than half of our class, to have jobs before they even finish the academy. We've had some classes where we've had the whole class hired before graduation.
Wow.
We've had other classes where half of them have been hired, and then we've noticed within probably 2 years since they finished the academy, we've seen a lot of the ones that didn't have jobs will have jobs. So a lot of them are getting hired. One thing about coming to the academy, when you put yourself through it, you make yourself more marketable to the agencies, and they're giving them preference for already being certified. That way the agency don't have to wait for somebody to go through the academy. They're ready to go to work. They can go right into field training, their FTO program, field training officer program, and then go to work.
So some of those people that maybe don't make the cut right, in the LEO block, what are some of the things that you guys look for to kind of refine those people and find the ones that are the best fit? Is it stuff like you're talking about, stuff like the psychological exams, or you looking for any kind of particular traits in somebody above and beyond that?
So we use all those tools to kind of get a baseline as much as we can. But we try and get a sense of who the person is and how their experience and how their background, what they have to offer, will help us become a well-rounded department that can best meet the needs of our residents. In West Jordan in particular, we have some exceptional residents. Our community is very engaged. From what I've seen, they interact well with the law enforcement department. We have a good relationship for the most part. And that's important to us to maintain that relationship, because as you mentioned earlier, we do work for the public, and that ultimately is who we're beholden to. But those are also our friends and our neighbors and our family, our colleagues, our coworkers, people we interact with that we're out amongst. And so we're looking for people that can navigate that. Again, looking for that strong kind of moral compass, but people that can, when they engage with us, try and get a sense of, are they critical thinkers? They're going to be faced with many challenges, and I haven't been to too many calls that at the base of it require the same response every time. Even though you may have a domestic violence situation, each one may have a unique set of circumstances, and being able to navigate that to best help the people in a way that meets the needs of the community and follows the strict laws that we're beholden to, and policies and procedures. So people that can be critical thinkers, but also be empathetic in times of understanding where people are coming from and why they're in those challenging situations, and understanding stuff that you maybe weren't aware of before that even went on in the world. So.
Yeah. So of those, say, 50 candidates that Rich has at any particular time, how do you discern which ones are the best fit? Do you look at, Rich, do you have, say, scoring available midstream in the class, or do you perhaps look at who's got extra educational background or has a greater resume going into the post-certification class that Rich teaches? What kind of stuff are you looking for that helps you weed through the candidates that are coming down?
Yeah, and I think that's a challenge that he said, is you look at a candidate when they first start the academy to when they finish and where they come and grow. So we expect that those coming in are to this law enforcement career are going to continue to grow and develop, and so we're just looking for that baseline. But certainly indicators of whether they have some college behind them, whether it be a college degree, military service. In fact, some of our positions require that we've had for some of the grant sire officers require that we hire veterans, and we find that there's some value in their discipline and being able to show, hey, they have this background and this moral compass. We have kind of something to draw from, a history of that. But even sometimes just your previous employment, being able to see, it's not enough to come in and say, of course we want to understand that you have those principles of honor and respect and a good moral compass and critical thinking skills and being able to be part of a team while still being an independent free thinker. You can come in and say that. We'll kind of give scenarios, but it's very helpful for us to look into a background and be able to say, this is where they've demonstrated those skills. And here's the experience. And here's where they've made mistakes in developing those. And here's how they've worked through those mistakes. Here's how they've overcome and challenged. So we're not looking for a perfect candidate. I think some people worry about that, say, hey, we want someone who's perfect. Yeah. We just want people that know how to, kind of put in perfect effort and that are willing to try and learn and grow. And so certainly the more diverse background you have gives us a higher degree of confidence that we have a good snapshot of where your baseline is.
Very good.
Can I add on to that?
Yeah.
Also, I do a lot of mentoring during our students coming through the academy, and I have a good feeling for outstanding students coming through the academy, especially if they're mature and they're good decision makers. I have a good feeling, a good vibe for certain people coming through the academy that are a little more outstanding than others. And I see that all through their training. Not only do I see it, but my instructors see it, and we talk back and forth. And so if I have a great student, one or two that's really good, I'll contact my instructors, find out how he's doing in certain areas, and they also give me great feedback. It's valuable for a lot of agencies to call us, especially when they're recruiting and these people are applying for their agencies. Give us a call, and we've got great information we can help you with on candidates. Not just myself, but our instructors who are observing all of this training at the same time.
And as a quick wrap up, if somebody doesn't get immediately hired in law enforcement, what do you recommend they do?
We recommend a couple of different things. We also get a good feeling for people where they might fit in. For instance, if you go to agencies like Salt Lake City, West Valley, South Salt Lake, they're very, very active agencies, and you got to be ready to run quick and learn really quick because there's so much happening in those cities. Versus somebody who may take a little more time to develop, and we'll kind of direct them to other agencies maybe that are smaller outline areas where they can gain that experience before jumping into the fire. So a lot of students will fit in different departments. Some could go right to Salt Lake City and go and fit right in and do a great job. Others may have to go to smaller agencies. Others may go into the corrections field to get experience first and then move into the agency they want to work for.
It's a lot to think about. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this week. For Guns Explained, I'm Jordan Mitchell. We'll see you again next week.